This is no longer just loose rumor. This is starting to look like a full-blown franchise strategy. Maxx Crosby could leave Las Vegas, but not now, at the most ruthless moment possible. A veteran quarterback could be on the way, but depending on who it is, it could completely stall the team's future. And meanwhile, Tom Brady dropped a message that a lot of people brushed off, but it changes the entire outlook for the season. So let's get straight to the point, because this defines the direction of the Raiders. Is Crosby still the cornerstone, or already a trade asset? Will the rookie's mentor help, or create a locker room issue? And this rebuild, is it longer than fans want to admit? Because one thing is already clear. There is a plan, but it could completely divide the fan base. So buckle up and hit that like, because what's coming next isn't speculation. It's a real read on what the Raiders are building. Let's start with the truth nobody wants to hear. Maxx Crosby is no longer untouchable. Relax. That doesn't mean he's getting traded tomorrow. But it does mean that behind the scenes, there's a scenario being considered, and it's very clear. If Crosby comes back healthy, plays at an all-pro level, and the Raiders are struggling during the season, trade talks will come back strong at the deadline. And strategically, that makes perfect sense. Think about it. Right now, with questions about his knee, no one is paying full price. But later, if he's dominating again, his value skyrockets. And that's where the cold front office logic kicks in. Don't sell low now, maximize value later. Now, there's more. There are already scenarios being discussed around the league, and one team that keeps coming up is the Chicago Bears. Important, this is not an active negotiation right now, but it's the kind of fit everyone is watching. If the Bears are in serious contention and need an elite pass rusher, they have the draft capital to make a massive offer. And this is where fans have to face reality. The Raiders could, yes, consider trading their best player. Not out of weakness, but because of long-term vision. And here's my take. No fluff. If you're trading Crosby, it better be for a ridiculous package. Multiple high picks, real future impact. If it's not that, don't even pick up the phone. Because he's not just production, he's identity. The kind of player that holds the culture together in chaos. Now, if the franchise decides the rebuild timeline demands sacrifice, that move could accelerate everything, or waste years. If you thought that was heavy, here's more. The Raiders are seriously evaluating bringing in a veteran quarterback, and that's not a small detail. That defines the entire environment of the team. Right now, the roster has Aiden O'Connell, and all signs point to the team likely using the #1 pick on a QB, with Fernando Mendoza emerging as the strongest name in that scenario. So you're looking at a rookie coming in under massive pressure and a veteran who could directly influence his development. Now look at the names that make sense. A near-perfect system fit. Knows the scheme, has worked with the staff, similar style to Mendoza. But there's a real question. Does he want to be a mentor, or is he still chasing a starting job? Depending on that answer, the deal doesn't even start. Now here comes the emotional factor. A franchise icon, history, connection. Yes, a return is possible, via trade or potential release. But let's be honest, if he comes in, the pressure to start is inevitable, and that could completely disrupt the rookie's development. Tyrod Taylor. This is the no headlines move, but extremely logical. A veteran who understands his role, doesn't create noise, helps development, and steps in when needed. Not exciting, but effective. Now lock this in, because it's key. If it's Cousins or Carr, push to compete sooner. If it's Tyrod, full focus on developing the young QB. And that tells you everything about the franchise's plan. Because quarterback isn't just a position, it's strategic direction. Now pay very close attention to this, because this was the most underrated statement of all. Tom Brady was direct. We still have a long way to go. No hype, no promises, just reality. And that completely changes how you should read the Raiders right now. Because while part of the fan base is expecting a quick turnaround, Brady is talking about process, discipline, resilience, collective building. Translation, this is not happening overnight. And when you connect the dots, it all starts to make sense. Valuing Crosby before making any decision, carefully choosing a veteran QB, focusing on developing a young quarterback, adding structural pieces, not flashy headlines. This isn't improvisation. This is a planned rebuild. But there's one problem. Rebuilds require patience. And patience isn't exactly a fan base's strength, especially after a 3-14 season. So what Brady is doing here is simple. He's resetting expectations. Because this project could absolutely work, but it's not happening overnight. So let's wrap this up. Crosby could become a gold mine, but only at the right time. The veteran QB will define the team's pace. And Brady already made it clear. This is construction, not an instant fix. Now answer this, no dodging. Would you trade Crosby for a massive haul of picks or keep him as the heart of the team, even in a rebuild? Because depending on that decision, the Raiders could speed everything up or completely lose their way in the process. Drop your take in the comments. This debate is just getting started.